Welcome back to the Big College Football Show. And Jake, we got a treat for all the college football fans right now because outside of one day in December, it's rare that you get multiple Heisman Trophy winners together. But not only are we doing that, we've got one from The Ohio State University, one from Notre Dame, and they're both here to preview this national championship matchup. So let's welcome in 1995 Heisman Trophy winner from The Ohio State University, Eddie George, and we've got the 1987 Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame University, Tim Brown. And Eddie, I'm just going to start with you. Got a nice little portrait back there. How you feeling today?
Hey, isn't it gorgeous? Just look at it. I
Really,
mean, this
Eddie?
is a beautiful portrait. Yes. I mean, what do we have? Notre Dame, Ohio State. How appropriate is it right now for that? I mean, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous photo. I mean, I've had this portrait for like the last 20 some odd years. Iconic
I don't think it's
picture.
been right there, Eddie.
This, huh?
I don't think it's been right there for 20-some years.
Oh, it has. It has. That's been the place for it. That's been the home. So,
Tim, you got any portraits that you're hiding from us? Anything you're going to break out for this interview?
If I had one with Ohio State on, you can bet, I probably would have it hanging from the back of my head right now. So, because, just to show it, Eddie.
All right, let's get into it. And Eddie, take a trip down memory lane. Talk about that portrait you had, their remarkable performance against the Irish in 1995. 32 carries, 207 yards, a couple touchdowns. What do you remember about that game?
Man, it was it was in, I think, early October. Perfect day leading up to the game, the week of the game. You could just feel the anticipation around campus, around the city. Prior to us playing Notre Dame, I think we hadn't played Notre Dame in like 32 years prior to that day. So it was highly anticipated. And we were just pumped up. I mean, when the schedule came out that summer or that year, we circled that game like, okay, by Notre Dame, we need to be hitting on all cylinders because we knew the brand of football that they presented. We knew the type of team that they were, led by new Coach Holtz. And, we just came in there fired up and ready to play in front of our home fans. And it was an awesome day. Terry Glenn had an amazing day. Ricky Dudley had an amazing day. Bobby Hoying, Sean Springs. And that was the game that really gave us national notoriety, put us on the map, so to speak, to possibly play for a title that season. So it was an incredible day.
All right, Tim, we got to give you your flowers. You've been one of the few people that's held on to hope for Notre Dame since that loss to NIU. You've been on Notre Dame all season. Now Notre Dame finds themselves as the underdogs against the Buckeyes once again. What are the reasons you have hope for the Irish in this game?
Well, I think when you look at what Notre Dame did to get back to this position, it's really incredible. I think after the NIU game, everybody thought this team was buried. And I have to admit, I didn't have a lot of hope at that time. It was like, can we go 8-4? Can we go 9-3 and get to a good bowl game? Because you lose a game like that, and the tendency is the locker room is going to split and things are going to start to break apart. But Coach Freeman and this team really did an incredible job of sticking together and getting to this point. You have Indiana, you have Georgia, you have Penn State, games that you all could have lost, but they found a way to get through these games. And I think the real critical moment was in the Penn State game. You get that bad penalty call, and they get the touchdown. That's a moment right there where you could say, had a great year. Let's go out and do whatever, and lose the game. Then everybody's going to to that play. But instead, they went right down the field and put 7 points on the board, and were able to get that game and get the victory. So I'm super proud of these guys. If they go and play like they played all year, this should be one incredible game.
All right, Eddie, I got to ask you, the team that you coach right now, Tennessee State, became the first HBCU to play Notre Dame, formed a bond between you and Marcus Freeman, obviously outside of the Buckeye lineage there. Have you spoken to Marcus Freeman recently about this upcoming game, and are you going to be rooting for him on Monday?
We've been texting back and forth. That's a loaded question. It's a win-win for me. We have a Buckeye coaching the Irish, and he's done an amazing job. Yes, we played back in 2023. Actually, Tim was at that game as well. And it was just a wonderful experience for us. And since that time, Marcus and I have been texting back and forth. I congratulated him a few weeks ago. I said, "Hey, after the season, when time permits, we'd love to come up, pick your brain on a few things, just this coach stuff that I wanted to learn." So he's just done a phenomenal job. To Tim's point, how you when you right the ship after that loss against Northern Illinois, it looked grim, but to reel off 13 wins and on the cusp of winning a national championship, coach of the year, it's phenomenal. This will probably go down as one of the greatest teams in the history, despite what happens coming up on Monday night. I think he's done an outstanding job, and he just showed resilience, toughness, and these kids have bought into him and they're a representation of who he is in terms of his character.
For all the differences between these two teams, there's a lot of similarities. One being that both these historic blue blood programs are looking for the return to glory. So I got a question for both of you guys, Tim, and we'll start with you. Did you ever feel the pressure that comes with representing a blue blood university?
Not really, man. I think when Coach Holtz got there, he showed us a different kind of football, a different way of playing the game. And, I think from that standpoint, we were trying to build something. He told us when he got there, that we were going to win a championship in 3 years. Well, I only had 2 years left. So I was like, Coach, we short. But, he said, look, it's not going to happen unless you guys buy in, and you buy in now. And then it took the juniors and seniors buying in to get them to the point that they could go 12-0 and win the national championship in '88. So I think, I never felt the pressure. I'm sure Eddie's the same way. You just want to go win, and you want to win for your university, you want to win for your family, win for the student body. You just want to win because that's what this blue blood, as you put it, university represents.
Eddie, 32 carries, 207 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It doesn't sound like you felt pressure, but maybe you could answer that as well. How did you handle the pressure of representing the Buckeyes?
No, there was some pressure. I mean, when you go to these schools, 9-3 doesn't cut it. Sometimes 10-2 doesn't cut it. You have 2 records. The regular season record, that team up north, and that's what they really measure you on. They look to those 2 records as something that, okay, you've done a great job in the regular season, but what is your record against Michigan? And that's where it comes down to. As players, you feel that. I can recall in 1992 and 1995, we were ranked number 2 in the country twice, going into the final game against that team up north, and lost both of them. And you feel that pressure of that during the course of that week, in the game, and when things don't go your way early in the game, you feel like, oh God, here we go again. And that's when the Ohio State fans jump on you, and you feel the pressure of that. So, and Ryan Day felt it this year. After having an amazing year, lost to Michigan, and for weeks, the last 2 weeks of the season, after that game, all he heard was, "Hey, we need to get rid of Brian Day. They're not tough enough." They heard all this bad stuff, but they were able to find a way to play angry football, locked in, focused, and you see where they are right now. So when you're at a school like in Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, these blue blood schools, there is some pressure that comes along with it, but it's a good pressure because it keeps your competitive edge at a high level.
No doubt about that. All right, well, let's get to that competitive edge here. I want to get your guys' predictions. And Eddie, we're going to start with you, but what do you think happens on Monday night?
I think it's going to be a close game. I know what Vegas is saying. I don't think it's going to be a runaway at all. I think Notre Dame is dialed in. They have the horses on the defensive side of the football to slow Ohio State down. I think when you look up the matchups, their defensive backs, they're capable of going one-on-one with Jeremiah Smith. I think they're going to, have a good game plan to take him out of the game and force the other playmakers to make plays. And I think that Notre Dame's offense, they have the capability of moving the ball against the Ohio State defense. But with that said, I feel like Ohio State will win a close one, 27 to 24. But it certainly is going to be one for the ages to watch.
All right, Tim?
Yeah, I sort of think the same thing. I don't want to see us going one-on-one with Jeremiah Smith, though. I don't want to see that happening because I'm not. I don't know if we're going to win the odds on that one at all. But look, I think this is going to be a game where Notre Dame is going to have to do what they do, and that is try and control the clock as much as they possibly can. Make sure that they're not giving up the big plays to Ohio State's offense. And I think if they can do that, get them in the red zone, make them kick field goals. This would be the perfect game and perfect game plan to win this game. I'm going 21 to Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame finds a way to win this game at the end. I think the resiliency they have shown all year is going to have to play big for them in this game to keep them in it. I think that'll be the thing that gets in a position to win it.
Yeah, both of these teams taking a little bit of a long road. The thing we do know about them is they know how to fight. They know how to respond. So I'm expecting a good one as well. But I got to say thank you guys, Eddie George, Tim Brown, for joining us here. A couple Heisman Trophy winners to preview the national championship. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Tim, I can send this to you if you need me to.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
It look really
yeah.
nice.
I got a good place for it. I got a good place for it. Send it to me.
Send one our way, but make sure you autograph it too, Eddie.
All right, guys. Coming up, we're posing one of the most important questions in the Windy City right now. Does Notre Dame football still own the streets of Chicago? Well, our friend David Haugh will join us to help us answer that question. That's next on the Big College Football Show.